Hey guys, Sarak here, and today I'm bringing to you my Phantom Knight deck profile. This is not a budget deck. It uses all the new cards and a lot of the cards that I have in my collection, but I just felt like showing it to you. This is a pure version with only a small Burning Abyss component, but I am planning to look into making a more PK Fire-esque version later down the line. So, let's get into the profile. We start off with the new one. 3 copies of Phantom Knight of Torn Scales. Now, this card just does so much for the deck. It gives you ways to dump Phantom Knights that are stuck in your hand and get the ones you need to the graveyard. It sends cards, not monsters, so you can send your trap cards to get revivals later down the line. It special summons itself from the graveyard when you banish another Phantom Knight. It's just an extremely strong card in the deck. And we have 3 copies of Phantom Knight Ancient Cloak. This is our main searcher of the deck. It adds any The Phantom Knights card, so bear in mind that it can't add the spells and traps, although it can add one of the rank ups, because Phantom Knight naming is weird. You have the Phantom Knights and you have Phantom Knights cards, which gets quite confusing. The 800 attack boost doesn't come up a lot, but does occasionally. We then have 3 copies of Silent Boots. This is an extender in hand. If you control a Phantom Knight monster, it can also search for any of your spells and traps that you might need. So this is very commonly sent to the graveyard off, say, Rusty Bardish to get 2 Fog Blades, so you have even more interruptions for your opponent next turn. And then we have 3 copies of Ragged Gloves. And this one is, again, it allows your break swords to hit massive attacks, to hit that 3k mark, which is quite important generally. And it's also, again, a foolish burial for any Phantom Knights card. Again, not monster, card, so you can send your traps. And then we get onto the last Phantom Knight monster of the main deck, 1 copy of Stained Greaves. This one's really good for unlocking your hand almost, because if your hand's a bit clunky, then this in your graveyard helps get those cards out of your hand to put those names on the field. If it's special summon, if you special summon a Phantom Knight card, you can immediately bring it out of your hand. And it also allows a little bit of level modulation if you need it to go into Raider's Knight or Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. And we have 3 copies of Kagamusha Knight, which is a Phantom Knight in all but name. Yes, I'm running common copies because I really don't want to have to spend the extra £30 on getting secret rare copies of a card that comes in a common copy. But yeah, whenever you normal summon a level 3 monster, it can special summon itself. We have a small danger package, 1 Jackalope and 1 Sneck. Again, these are just generic level 3 extenders that give you draw power, they give you a bit of discard order outlets for your Phantom Knights to get them into the grave. They're very, very useful in the deck. And they're still dark monsters as well. We get into the small Burning Abyss component. We're just playing 1 Seer and 1 Graph. This is for your cherubini play. Obviously, you get 2 level 3s, you make the cherubini, you send the Graph, special summon the Seer, and that allows you to bardish very quickly. Or if you want to make Dante plays, then you can. Cherubini will protect the Seer and the Graph, and Dante can obviously loop Seer back to your hand. We have 2 more level 3 extenders. The reason we're playing the different names is because so we can special summon both of them in one turn. That's the only reason we're playing both names. They're just generic level 3 extenders for the deck. So now we get on to the hand traps. For the monster hand traps, we just have 3 copies of Ash Blossom. It's the most generic hand trap that fits 3 slots. At the moment, this is going first deck, it's a trap deck, so it doesn't really want Gamma in the main deck. So I felt Ash Blossom was the best option there. We have 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. We can play this because we have loads of dark monsters in our deck. The only ones we don't run are the 2 psychic monsters and the Ash Blossoms. So we run a very high dark count so we can run Allure of Darkness. So then we have 1 copy of the new rank up magic, Phantom Knight's rank up magic force. This is one of those cards that doesn't have the in the name, so it can't be searched with anything that searches for a the Phantom Knights card. But as you'll see, the next rank up does have a the in its name. This allows you to use monsters in your graveyard to rank up your Xyz monsters, which is really, really useful because it means you can, if you can't get, say, a level 4 to get into Raiders Knight, this allows you to get into the Raiders Knight very, very easily with any Xyz monster you control. So that's a Phantom Knight monster. So you can use Breaksword if you don't have any targets for Breaksword to blow up. Then it makes that much easier. It does lock you into Xyz monsters for the rest of the turn, which is important in the deck. We have 1 The Phantom Knights rank up magic launch. So this can be searched with cards that search the Phantom Knight cards. This has to target a Dark Xyz monster and can only summon 1 rank higher, and the monster has to have no materials. So you just have to be a little bit careful with using this. The general play would be you make your Breaksword, you use Breaksword's effect to pop itself, summon back the 2 materials at level 4, and then use them to make Dark Rebellion. Dark Rebellion can then detach both its materials at once, and then rank up magic launch allows you to go into either Dark Requiem or Arc Requiem. One Foolish Burial, because every card in our deck has a graveyard effect, pretty much, so why wouldn't we run this? 1 Reinforcement of the Army. All the Phantom Knights are warriors. Kagamusha Knight's also a warrior, so it just helps get those 2 level 3s onto the board as quickly as we can. So now we get into the trap portion of the deck, and we have 3 copies of Phantom Knight's Fogblade. This is a searchable Fiendish Chain that we can also use to protect a monster if we really, really need to, and it also monster reborns for us in our opponent's turn. It's really, really good. It's searchable. We can search it with most of our Phantom Knight cards. We can set it directly to the field with bardish. It's really, really strong. And then we just have 2 more Phantom Knight traps. We have 1 sword and 1 wing. They functionally do the same thing. They're a protection trap, and they also have the important banish to special summon a Phantom Knights card from your graveyard. And then finally, for the trap lineup, we have 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Again, very solid trap currently. Allows you to stop their traps going off, and is one of the few traps that's also good going second. So that's the main deck, and now we get on to the extra deck. We have 2 copies of Phantom Knights or Breaksword. This is your main rank 3 you'll go towards, which allows you to blow up 1 card you control and 1 card your opponent controls. Again, lots of cards you control have graveyard effects, so you nearly always come out on top. You can also target itself, which allows you to use its second effect. If it's destroyed, you can target 2 Phantom Knight monsters with the same level in your graveyard, special summon them, and then increase their level by 1. You can use this to pop fog blades, so you can attack into your opponent's cards. You can use this to pop itself, obviously, to bring the monsters back. It's very flexible, very good at breaking boards open, and leads into your main plays to get your rank up monsters on the field. We have one copy of Dante because it's very, very good. It's another rank 3. It mills 3 cards that we want in the graveyard, and it loops itself with Seer, which is very, very useful. One copy of Levier the Sea Dragon. In a grindier game, this is very, very strong because we banish a lot of our cards from the graveyard, so being able to bring them back is very, very useful. So now we get into the rank 4s. We have one copy of Raider's Knight. This is the new card from Phantom Rage, which essentially is a rank up magic spell on a body. So this allows us to get into our Dark Requiem or our Arc Rebellion without needing a rank up magic spell. It would destroy it during the end phase, but as you'll see, that doesn't matter. One copy of Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. This is very, very useful for OTK plays, or if we want to set up Dark Requiem. One copy of Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. This, again, is very, very good for OTK plays, and also is a quick effect negate from any of your opponent's monsters, and allows you to special summon it. Summon one Xyz monster from your graveyard, such as your Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, or your Raider's Knight, or your Breaksword, or your Dante. So it's very, very, very strong. Then we have one Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Now this card combos with Raider's Knight because it can't be destroyed by card effects, so the downside of Raider's Knight effect doesn't matter. It's also an absolutely monstrous OTK machine. It essentially absorbs all the attack of every other monster on the field, and if it's got a Dark Xyz monster as material, it negates the effect of all other face-up monsters on the field. It's extremely strong. It's how you will end a lot of your games, by just making this into some sort of huge 15,000 attack behemoth. And then we run one copy of Divine Arsenal Asus, because we're an Xyz deck, we play a lot of them, and having the ability to nuke the opponent's field at instant speed is really, really strong. So that's the Xyz monsters, and now we just get into the Link monsters, which there are fewer of, but still a reasonable amount. One copy of Phantom Knight's Rusty Bardish. This is your main turn 1 setup monster. It gives you access to Fog Blades, it gives you access to so many spells and trap. It puts a Phantom Knight name in the graveyard. It does everything the deck wants. And it also allows you to pop cards if you use, say, your Phantom Knight trap effects to revive, say, a Breaksword at its Link Arrow. Cherubini, as we run pretty much entirely level 3s in the deck, and it's a way of sending a monster to the graveyard that can't be negated. One IP Mascarena. Again, we have lots of ways of special summoning cards out of our graveyard during our opponent's turn with all our trap effects, and we often have sort of spare material on the board that we can use with IP to link off to make Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, or Appaloosa. They're your self-explanatory IP targets that are good for interrupting your opponent's plays. So that's it with the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed that. This is as I said, the pure version. I'm going to look into developing a more BA-reliant version. But the deck's really, really grindy and sort of plays a much fairer game than a lot of, say, Dragon Link does at the moment. You're very much looking to out-resource your opponent, and then when you've got them to a point, you can OTK with cards like Ark Rebellion. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will be back soon with more videos.